In Venom Wars, we catch up with Natasha Romanoff as Natasha is at an expose as a bunch of scientists are attempting to show off their new symbiote neutralizer. Now, in order to showcase the neutralizer, they infect the human subject with a little bit of the symbiote strain. Now, obviously, this all goes tits up, but what they were not expecting is Natasha Romanoff is in the building, and Natasha Romanoff is also a symbiote. Natasha proceeds to immobilize the scientists responsible for this whole mess, and then she proceeds to go one-on-one with the newly infected symbiote test subject. As Natasha is in the clutches of this newly infected symbiote, she manages to transform into a bunch of spiders long enough to distract it, and then she proceeds to run over to the scientist she immobilized and grabs the symbiote neutralizer, and then she proceeds to use it on the symbiote test subject. Now this actually works, and it preserves the human life inside the symbiote. But the doctor is not off the hook yet, as Natasha goes to interrogate the doctor, and she rips up the doctor's notes. Before Natasha leaves, she has a bunch of her symbiote spiders enter the doctor's mouth to extract information directly from his brain. Now Natasha's symbiote states he will live, but not well. Natasha's symbiote is named Silver, and as Natasha and Silver are making their way through the city, they just so happen to run into Flash Thompson, who happens to be wearing the anti-Venom symbiote suit. Flash agrees to help Natasha, and the two go off to deal with the symbiote threat that seems to be ravaging their city. And as they proceed, these two are unfortunately ambushed by a slew of symbiote zombies, but luckily, since Flash is wearing the anti-Venom symbiote suit, Flash is able to knock the symbiote right out of people. Unfortunately, even that is not enough, as the symbiote still managed to overwhelm Natasha and Flash with sheer numbers. Natasha and Flash continue to try and deal with all these symbiote zombies, but elsewhere in the city, Liz Allen is also attempting to deal with the symbiote threat, as Liz Allen has a symbiote suit of her own in the form of Misery. Now Liz is attempting to deal with all these symbiote zombies, but unfortunately she's getting overwhelmed by the sheer volume of symbiote zombies in the vicinity. When we flash back to Natasha and Flash, we can see they have their hands full as they're dealing with a fuck ton of symbiote zombies of their own. As Natasha and Flash continue to deal with the symbiote threat, eventually they run into Liz Allen as she is dealing with the symbiote threat of her own. Natasha, Flash, and Liz proceed to join forces, and they tackle the symbiote threat together, with Liz giving Natasha some valuable intel. Liz and Natasha continue to fight these symbiotes, but unfortunately, what the symbiotes lack in speed, they make up for with sheer strength in numbers. But Natasha and Liz are attempting to come up with a plan to reverse all of the symbiotes at once. But in order to do that, the ladies must first set a trap for all these symbiotes. Natasha and Liz gather up a bunch of corpses in order to lure all the symbiotes into one location. Natasha and Liz proceed to web all the corpses across the Alchemax facility in order to lure the symbiote zombies. But Natasha breaks off from Silver in order to handle some business of her own. Now, unfortunately, by the time she's ready to reassimilate with Silver, Silver has seemingly lost her mind, as a symbiote without a host simply turns into a mindless zombie the vast majority of the time. Now, as Silver pursues Natasha, Liz manages to make her way to the fire suppression system. In place of the fire suppression foam, she places her own anti-venom in order to kill the symbiotes all at once. This actually works, and fortunately, it works just in time, because right as Silver was about to fucking eat Natasha, she gets hit with the anti-venom serum, and it subsequently kills her. Now, after this whole mess is over, Liz Allen is planning to take control of the company that manufactured the anti-symbiote serum in an attempt to get the company back on track. Natasha is satisfied as she has saved many lives, but she is also distraught as her own symbiote Silver that she has formed a bond with is no more, or at least for now. The end.